Now we can
Glad
go live. What are we
we got it
talking
out.
about? I don't even know.
Well, guys, today on Clickbait Sports, we'll be talking about these three things. Here we
Welcome
are.
back, ladies and gentlemen, to another glorious episode of Clickbait Sports. We are the fearsome foursome today. Tom Grassi not available as he is preparing for his $1 million stream. But the fearsome foursome is here, which includes Brandon Perna. How are we doing today, Brandon?
Oh, we're doing pretty good,
How bad did it hurt, Brandon, to see a team just not show up, knowing that your team would have at least maybe made it a little more interesting? I think the Broncos would have lost, but would have not all had us turning, waiting for the Benito Bowl at halftime.
Yeah, I mean, they probably lose with Jarrett Stidham. I get that. I think knowing that Bo Nix's injury really it derailed everything, and we'll never get to know what that version of the Broncos could have done against the Seahawks. And I know it's like easy to say the Seahawks still probably beat the Broncos even if Bo Nix is healthy, but the one thing that the Broncos did throughout the course of the season is just play weird games against good teams and bad teams. So I think it would have been at least close against Seattle with Bo Nix in there. I think that specific version of the Broncos had been tested so many different ways throughout the course of the season, a lot like Seattle. And more than anything, it just exposed I wish somebody would have thought that the Patriots were fraudulent heading into that game, because it kind of felt like that exposed them a bit, but nobody here was certainly thinking about that.
No one did.
Absolutely
No
not.
one would
Absolutely
say
not.
such a
Joining
thing.
us
We are a
again, though,
panel
we
of
also
experts.
have 5 points vids 5. What are the vibes like? How are you feeling this glorious Thursday?
I kind of went counterculture saying that the Patriots would win, but we all knew that Seattle was the better team. They looked very complete. And then I saw today on Twitter, Joe Judge was in court for some reason. So,
Joe,
hold on. Joe Judge is a coach for Ole Miss. I know that. I've since tried to forget about him. It's kind of like Jenko, the pants that we used to wear in college. I tried to forget about those too. I tried to forget about Joe Judge ever existing. Apparently, he's in court for some reason, and he's saying that if a football player has a child during the middle of the year, that he should be focusing on football.
We did this like 30 years ago.
Yeah, that he should not be interrupted for midnight feedings, etc. So
really, what?
I number one, I don't know why he's in court. I have no idea what the context of that is.
You're here for a speeding ticket.
Yeah,
sir, this is a Wendy's.
Sir, this is a win. I have no idea what that is about. It's okay. Wesley is saying it's part of the Trinidad Chambliss hearings.
We will get into all of that,
either.
But before we get into more of that, joining us also is Urinating Tree. What are the vibes like today? How are you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling all right. Football season in the books. I'm working on some NHL videos right now, and honestly, I don't know if it's more of a relief or what, but it's just, as I said, it's the Super Bowl happened. Patriots did not happen, so all Pittsburgh is currently not salty. We're just salty over certain hires that were made, Mike McCarthy. But as I said, we're just we're looking forward to the vibes. I'm watching some Olympic hockey. We're beating some Latvian butt. It's all good in the world.
Absolutely. Can we get a USA in the comments? Let's go.
Who's leading the medal count?
Getting silver
in I think Norway last I checked.
Snowboarding.
Norway.
But let's just do a rapid recap of the Super Bowl. Let's just get the cat out of the bag.
Yeah.
I told you so. I literally predicted this game almost to a T. I had the Seahawks plus 14. They won by 16, and I was vindicated. One of many times I have been vindicated on Clickbait Sports. It won't be the first, and it won't be the last. What surprised you guys the most in this game? Was it the lack of the Patriots' offensive stature, or was it just the fact that all the commercials were hot garbage during the Super Bowl? Let me know your takes.
Wait, you don't like AI commercials? I mean, the Zveka commercial was obviously the best one, right?
The best commercial was the Manscaped commercial with the
You're biased.
with the talking pubes. Listen, I agree. Most of the commercials were ass. I remember back at the Energizer Bunny made its debut in the Super Bowl. So did the Bud Bowl.
Bud,
Was
wine.
amazing.
Green
Yeah, the
Coca-Cola.
Budweiser frogs, the Doritos
Huzzah.
commercials. You know, I can't remember a single memorable commercial from this Super Bowl. I think we all just doom scroll during the intermission so that we don't have to watch.
Weren't you
the
streaming though?
I was streaming.
Yeah, we were.
And then, yeah.
I mean, it was doom scrolling too, but it's understandable.
I was trying to doom scroll.
What
And
was
then,
your favorite commercial from the Super Bowl?
The
If
only
you
one I
can
even
remember any of
remember is the Manscaped one. And apparently they didn't use any AI. They actually
Nice.
animated the
The little
talking
pube balls.
Yep.
Ooh,
Mhm.
kinky.
I know Scooter wants to brag about picking the obvious thing that was going to happen in the Super Bowl, but
Okay. Here we go.
I think I was way more spot on than Scooter. K9?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Let's get even more bold, Adam, and say
Okay.
Kenneth Walker wins MVP of the Super Bowl.
Oh, it's not a running back award. It's not a run. You know, even. Yeah. Okay. You got one prediction right out of all of your
I
predictions.
picked the first running back to win MVP since Terrell Davis. That was pretty
That
good.
was pretty
Congratulations.
ballsy. I'll
Dude,
give you
it should have
credit.
been Jason Myers. It should have been Jason Myers or Michael
That
Dixon.
was
Michael
a
Dixon
great call.
had an
Michael
outstanding.
Dixon was MVP.
They'll never wait. Do you think a punter could ever actually win Super Bowl MVP?
A punter or
No,
a kicker?
I mean, he should have because I mean, if you look at actually how he pinned New England deep in their territory near consistently, he was the most valuable player besides the defense. But you can't choose one player.
well, honestly,
all
up
11.
until halftime,
problem.
the kicker was the MVP going into halftime. K9 made a surge towards the end of the game, but had this game been
Hold on.
only field goals, it would have been very hard to not give the award to the Seattle Seahawks kicker.
Speaking of that, I took the over in the game, and K9 breaks a 60-yard run, and I'm celebrating on stream because I thought that I wrote that bet off at halftime, and then he gets me the over, and then they call holding on the play, and it comes back, and they never even get close to scoring the 7 points I needed. So I'm a little mad at the football gods for that, but congrats to K9. He deserved it.
I think for a punter to be able to win Super Bowl MVP, I think the total score has to be less than 10.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I mean, not that's that. I think it would
Just
be
to
more
do
of
it
a
to piss
defense.
everybody
just
off.
Kept
It might
pinning
have to be
the opposing
3-0
team.
for a punter to win.
No, MVP long snapper. There you go.
No, you
Long
can't
snapper.
do that. No long
Come
snapper
on,
will
it
win.
should
Okay,
be.
oh,
We
how
need
about this?
fun.
I'm
Here's
trying
a
to figure out how
scenario.
a punter could do it.
Well, okay, here's a scenario where the punter coffin corners them like 4 times, right? Like out at the one where it
And the
bounces
punter
and rolls.
throws the
And then-
only touchdown.
Yes, and a punter goes for a fake
Yes.
and then throws a touchdown, and also a secondary fake where he takes off and runs for
No.
40 yards.
Here's how the punter gets the award. He has a strip fumble on a punt return that he recovers as well.
Okay.
There we go.
But you have to have him throw a touchdown as a fake and rush for some type of yards.
It's possible.
If a punter finished with this stat line, okay, it's like say 3 punts inside the 10-yard line. The score is very low. He has the most touchdown passes in the game with 1. And he records a tackle, like Scooter saying, and recovers a fumble. That's the way a punter could do it. And I think everybody on Earth Well, every football fan on earth would sacrifice one incredibly boring Super Bowl for that to happen at least once in our lifetime.
And honestly, that's exactly what the Patriots needed to happen in this game, because the whole first half, they were playing like absolute, complete, unmitigated, pure, and unadulterated hot garbage. Where did the Patriots go wrong in this game? Was this even a winnable game for the Patriots in your minds?
I mean, the reality is simple. Like, they couldn't block anybody. Will Campbell, I mean, it was obvious the dude was hurt, but he was bad. He was letting rushers go left and right. Yeah, both rookies, especially the left guard. I remember in the third quarter, I believe it was, I think it was Milton Williams, I believe it was, or not Milton Williams. It was Byron Murphy. He was just bull. He just literally pushed the guard into the quarterback and then dragged them both down for a sack.
Oh no, that was Riley. Riley. Oh my God.
No, I thought that was Byron Murphy.
The early sack where the dude just bull rushed and took down Drake May and the guard you're talking about?
Yeah, I thought that was
Riley Mills. That was Riley Mills.
I thought that was.
I think that might have been his first career sack, I believe.
I mean, no, so Seattle played some lights out defense. That's why they call it the dark side.
Seattle's defense was swarming, but I would actually counter that. Yes, the Patriots pass offense, their offensive line was not good, but Drake May was also playing very fast, and he was playing really terribly. If you look back, he had some time to make some passes, but in my mind, it looked like he was seeing and hearing footsteps just based off that swarming Seattle defense. Was he put in a bad position because of his offensive coordinator?
He was never comfortable at all back there. Will Campbell was getting Will clapped like the whole game. He couldn't stop anything. He was hurt, which also, he was the best option to be out there, but he was just getting bull. Drake May, yeah, it's great when there's a Super Bowl. Like, remember Phil Simms against the Broncos, where he had just all day to make throws back there. And Drake May didn't have any amount of time. He was just getting attacked. And then when he did have a chance to throw, he was making bad decisions too. And so it was just a perfect storm of terrible offense.
I mean, the Seahawks defense has been doing it all year long. And there's like a few things that happened in that game. And I think like it's one of those things where the Super Bowl, it went very poorly for the Patriots. But one, yes, Will Campbell's probably more injured than we thought going in that game. He said something about he tore something in his knee, is playing through that. Drake May's shoulder might have been effed up as well. All right, so there's a couple built-in, like real reasons as to why they performed that way. But if you want to look at Josh McDaniels and what they did not do is run the ball consistently or effectively to help a young quarterback. And I think running the football should have been a bigger part of their game plan, regardless, with, a sophomore QB going into that game, no matter like how high you are on Drake May, because we watched Drake May struggle through the course of the playoffs against really good defenses. It was the turnovers. He was a far different passer in those games. Then you're going against Mike Macdonald, who has confused the hell out of some of the best play callers in the league. He's confusing other quarterbacks. And I was reading something about how when, like your offense sends their guys in motion and they're trying to identify if the defense is in zone or man. And a lot of the defense are playing now. They'll play like one half of the field in man, the other half in zone. And Mike Macdonald, in terms of the tells of what you do in motions, has basically started flip-flopping those. Yes. And that confuses the hell out of young quarterbacks. And that's why, like, Kyle Shanahan before the game was like, yeah, I don't know. We couldn't score against this defense. Like, don't ask me. When you look at it, the Rams are one of the only teams who are able to score against Seattle. And that's because you got Sean McVay and you have Matthew Stafford, who's been in the league forever. He's seen it all. He knows how to do it. And even in those games, that's when Seattle countered by unleashing Sam Darnold in those games to go toe to toe with Matthew Stafford. So I think the fact that Seattle can do all those things, And then also they can play whatever game you're throwing at them. If Sam Darnold just has to be your point guard at QB and not risk the ball, he can do it. When he's needed to throw and exploit lesser defenses, he's tore them up this year. So I think like more than anything, we just witnessed a team that is very balanced in Seattle, and that is offense, that was defense, and that was an elite special teams performance versus a good Patriots team who had basically their flaws kind of exposed in the
See,
Super Bowl.
that's
And
where
the worst
I would
place
want
for
to
it all
push
blow up.
back against a good Patriots team. Because if you remember my talking points from last week,
All right.
this Patriots team had the easiest schedule in the league, to the point where people are now calling him Drake the Schedule May.
The schedule.
He's finally got a
Because
nickname.
It's a hilarious
they literally
nickname.
didn't play
It's a
anyone
great-
during the season. I don't know if this is a good Patriots team,
But
if I'm being
I mean,
honest.
they
I
be-
think my point still stands. You put this Patriots team up against 3 other NFC teams, they're losing in the Super Bowl. They're losing to the Rams in the Super Bowl.
Their
They might
defense
lose
did.
to the 49ers.
Their defense
in
was
the
really
Super Bowl.
good.
Yeah,
I
their
just
defense
don't know how
kept them
good this
in the
Patriots team
game.
was.
Their
Fine,
I
what
mean,
were you
so their offense started with 8 straight punts, and after that, the score was still 12-0. So their defense obviously kept them in the game. And when they finally scored late, when they finally figured some things out, they're actually, it was a 2-score game, I think, late. So they had a chance.
Yeah.
I thought that the
Did
Patriots
they
weren't an
have a
awful
chance?
team. It
Did
wasn't
they
like
ever really have a chance in this game? If you're being
Not
honest with
really.
yourself.
No, but like at least they were. It was like that Rams Patriots Super Bowl where they're only down by 10 and they just could not move the ball at all. It's just I thought that they were not an awful team. I thought that they were whatever the
I
AFC
think
was
they
going to put
have
out. It
a
was going to be
great
that.
defense. Like I said, I think their defense is spectacular and the offense is lackluster. I did not think they would be able to go up against Seahawks defense, and look what happened. So
Honestly, the team that could have probably given the Seahawks their like the best run would have been the Bills. And it's just unfortunate.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I'm happy the Broncos beat Buffalo. Like, that game was freaking awesome for me. Oh my God, I'm choking on my own spit.
You're choking on your own words.
Hold on. Okay. What Buffalo could have done that the Broncos were not a team that ran the ball consistently well. Buffalo could have lined up and they could have handed off to James Cook 20 times in that game and forced Seattle to kind of change how they approach their defensive philosophy, because they are not a team that adds extra guys into their box to stop the run.
Huh.
They are taking away explosive plays. Like, that's what their defense does. You can't get explosive plays against them. And if you're going to get them, you got to set it up with the run. And Buffalo, through the course of the season, they leaned on James Cook a lot. And not only can you just lean on James Cook, Josh Allen can take off and run at any time. So I'm not saying the Bills would have won that game, because we all know the Bills defense would have been a high scoring game, probably.
Mhm.
But I think in terms, if you're looking at the AFC and you're looking at the Bills, like, damn, if they could have gotten into that game, I think they would have played better than the Patriots.
I think any team would have played better than the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
No. Oh, dude, the
AFC
Steelers
is
would have been
kinda
terrible.
weird.
They would have been destroyed.
Oh yeah, the Steelers
I-
would have been terrible.
Steelers
Yeah,
would have
I
been
think
destroyed,
Houston-
and as I like the Texans, CJ Stroud would have had a nightmare game. He would have had like 6
Oh
picks.
God,
It would have
Yeah.
been comparable. It would have been comparable.
I think you're right. Sort of the Houston, Denver, and the Patriots are kind of built the same. Ferocious defenses, sus offenses, and the outcome all would have been the same if they actually.
So
played.
that's actually the
the
next
Seahawks.
question I want to bring up to you guys. If you look at the makeup of both of the teams in the Super Bowl, it was not the QB play that won this game.
Nope.
It was, in fact, the defense that carried both of these teams through the Super Bowl championship. So my question is, do you think teams are going to look at the build of the Seattle Seahawks and say this offseason, defense wins championships? and go and try and build their defense. Again, it's not like Seattle had a premium pass rusher that was the best top 5 pass rusher, which a lot of people think you need to have.
No, they just had like 5 guys that could rush the passer on.
Yeah, they had 5 guys. They had an elite secondary. Their only weakness was
that's my point. So,
and they had really good linebackers.
Do you think this will change how people look of how to get to the Super Bowl versus people traditionally invest in the quarterback, invest in the offense? Do you think we will see a shift now going towards the defensive side of the ball?
I don't think so. I mean, you still need a really good quarterback to make it to like the Super Bowl. I mean, look at the Cleveland Browns, one of the best defenses in all of football. Tremendous pass rush. Carson Schwessinger was Rookie of the Year. He looks like he's got a great
Drake
future.
May
Really
was
promised,
a really
but not
good
just that. Well, he was a borderline MVP candidate during the regular season, dude.
One
That
vote.
doesn't matter about the regular schedule. You want bad quarterbacks? Look at the Browns, dude.
In the league, he was an MVP candidate, yes. But then what happened when he played good teams in the playoffs?
He played the best defenses in football, which is not really an excuse. You have to play. But, like, dude, he played like the 9th best defense in football, Jesse Minter, who is incredibly known for his scheme. The second, like, one of the best pass rushing defenses in the Texans. The second best defense in football in the Broncos. And then the best defense in football, nicknamed the Dark Side.
So aren't you making my point then that it matters about the defense more than
because he beat those first 3.
Yeah. And not just that, you also have to have good offense because guess what? Chargers offense completely shut down. Texans offense, CJ Stroud shit his pants. Broncos offense, they didn't have a quarterback that was injured. So guess what? You need both to win.
It's balance. It's a good question, Scooter, but I think it just points to that there's no one way to build your team to get to the Super Bowl. What the Seahawks just showed, one is Sam Darnold. It's a unique situation, but he was a first round quarterback who had been written off. But they're not overpaying for Sam Darnold. They gave him a 3-year, $100 million deal, which sounds crazy, but we all know that's a great deal for a quarterback.
Yeah.
And through the course of the season, they just like Sam Darnold was just a good quarterback. And some weeks he was a great quarterback, but he also understood when he needed to be a great quarterback versus when he just needed to game manage. But I think like when you look at the Seahawks, in terms of like, if you don't have an elite quarterback, that doesn't mean you can't win a Super Bowl. And I think a lot of people, you get used to either it's it's Tom Brady, it's Patrick Mahomes. You're like only going to win with those guys. And then every now and then you get your Dilfer, you get your Flacco,
your Brad Johnson,
whoever.
Your Nick Foles, Big Dick.
Yeah.
Yep.
Legend. Jeff Hostetler.
It's
Haas.
You got to have, you have to be able to win games in all 3 phases. Yeah, well, let's just say 2. Your offense has to be able to win games for you sometimes, and so does your defense. Now, you can have a great defense. That can be your thing. That can be your identity. But you're going to need to have games where your offense takes over, right? And the teams that just rely on one of those things, they're the ones who end up losing. Like the Chargers were kind of a weird example of that because of injuries this year. But you can do it a lot of different ways. But if you can just have a good quarterback, which gives you that extra cap flexibility, it allows you to have a good offense and a great defense, or a great offense and a good defense. And what also gets lost in that is like depth, right? You have to have good depth players because you're going to lose guys through the course of the season. And typically the teams that keep winning, they like when injuries happen, they've got another guy that just goes in there and plays well. And you can have all those guys when you can pay all those guys.
That is a great point. If we're looking at the past 5 Super Bowl champions, is there anything that we can draw that's a constant? So this year, Seattle, New England, Seattle.
I got it.
Philadelphia beats Kansas City last year. I think this is a case of the defense being elite for the Eagles. I do not think it was their offense carrying them to the top. I think their defense carried them, and their offense was good. And then Kansas City beats San Francisco in 2024. Are we saying that it was an offensive?
The Chiefs had really good defenses those last 2 Super Bowls they won.
Yep.
I'm just saying. I say there is one constant in all this. It's the ability to run the ball.
Yeah.
And every team. I mean, you look at Saquon; he was able to run the ball. K9 able to run the ball. They had Isaiah Pacheco, Kareem Hunt. Samaje Perine. All these teams able to run the ball, and that takes the pressure off your quarterback to make plays and for defenses to bite on play action. And I mean, if there's anything that team should be copying, it's running the freaking ball.
Yeah. And
You know
cool.
what? I actually saw an interesting stat, and I wanted to get your guys' opinion on this. And the stat was basically teams that won the Super Bowl did not spend a high draft pick on a running back. And also their running back did not account for a large percentage of their total cap space. When you look at all of the Super Bowls, it's very rare that a team has a running back on a high contract and then they win the Super Bowl. Do running backs matter, or is it really the scheme, that O-line, that matters more?
I think we're in the process of seeing running backs become more important. And it's because we talked a little bit about Mike McDonald his defense taking away explosive plays. Like, that's not new, right? Like, that's part of what Vic Fangio started to do really well, and it's why teams started to have an answer for the Chiefs and why their offense hasn't been as explosive as it was a few years ago. And the way you're able to combat that is by running. And so you don't have to spend a ton of money on a running back, but if you have a great one like Saquon Barkley, and you're going to pay him, or like James Cook, like, pay those guys, because when you find really good running backs, you can spread. I don't care like how teams spread the money around. Like, every team's going to have like a different example of that. And this is off track, but I was thinking about this the other day. And John Schneider's getting a lot of credit because he's built 2 completely different Super Bowl winning rosters, right? I think like the hardest thing to do if you're an NFL GM, it's just deciding on, and it's going to sound so like silly and so like obvious, but knowing when to take a chance on a guy like Sam Darnold versus when to move on from another player that was also good, like Geno Smith, like being able to be like, you know what, I can upgrade this position with this guy. And at the time, there's a lot of Seahawks fans like, why are we getting rid of Geno Smith for Sam Darnold? It wasn't like a clear-cut decision everybody thought was good. But it's being able to identify that. And not every GM can. And we shit on all the GMs who can't because it's fun to do so in hindsight. And also, like, Seattle, they fired their offensive coordinator the year before and brought in Clint Kubiak. So you have to be able to balance knowing when something's not working and making the change versus letting something develop and giving it the patience to turn into what it can be. Because the Jets right now are like,
they can't do either. They don't know what they pull the plug too early, and then they let things go on too late.
And when you make one mistake, you usually overcompensate, then you make the opposite mistake.
That's a great point, especially because if you were to ask anyone at the beginning of the year, would Sam Darnold be a Super Bowl winner? I think not many people would have been on board.
Yeah.
But things do change. And speaking of things changing, let's get into our next segment. What would you guys want to change about your teams going into this offseason? In other words, what is your to-do list? If you were GM, what moves are you making to get your team where Sam Darnold was in the Super Bowl?
Also, let me put this in there for you. Think about something for your team, and then think about something you just want to see in the NFL. A personnel move, a player going somewhere. It doesn't have to be for your team.
Okay.
Want me to start with the Broncos?
Sure.
Or Tree? Why don't you start, Tree?
Yeah.
Oh, well, Yeah, but,
Is
I mean, here's the
Aaron
thing.
Is Aaron coming back? We
Aaron
want to
then
know.
trickle down.
The sad part is I feel like he is. I don't want him back because the thing is I've already seen what it is. Like it's like he has flashes of that old glory, but against elite teams he did nothing. And it was sad to see. Like he's not what he was. I think the thing is that with this organization, I believe that they are simply going to like keep pushing forward and just like keep thinking they're doing the same thing. I mean, realistically, I want a wide receiver too. They have had issues trying to fill that position for a long time. I think that's going to be investing their first overall pick. And secondly, I think, I mean, if you're looking for your dream scenario, Steelers go get Joe Burrow, a grumpy man in Cincinnati, because quite frankly, as I said, you need a franchise quarterback. There it is. Cincinnati's been pretty good at wearing them down. So that's it.
Okay.
Chance.
So a wide receiver too, which is crazy because y'all just gave us.
Is that you feel like your biggest need?
Yeah, because the thing is, you have to consider Scooter. George Pickens and DK are the same thing. They're not going to be.
Hold up.
George Pickens was never doing that, and Arthur Smith.
Hold up.
He never was, dude.
George Pickens and DK are the same thing.
Pretty much. They're deep threats. They don't really have a good short or mid-range game. They take plays off.
Pull up the stats.
Pickens has better hands than DK.
George Pickens is an all-pro.
George Pickens had a lot of issues in Pittsburgh, just saying.
I'm just saying.
I would
look,
too
so this
if
is the
I
first
had to
time
live in Pittsburgh and catch a ball in cold weather. That is the problem.
Look, Tree, I've known you for 10 years now. That's the worst take you've ever had in all.
That's
10
a fine
years.
take. Shut up.
I'm just saying.
Shut your whore mouth.
Is generally just a vertical threat or a post route runner. He's not as talented as routes as George Pickens takes plays off.
He took a bunch of plays off.
Pickens might take plays off, but Pickens makes plays where you're like, "Holy crap! How did he do that?"
Pickens was leading the NFL. It was JSN and George Pickens leading the NFL in yardage. They were going back and forth. Never in your life compare George Pickens on the Cowboys to George Pickens on the Steelers. It is a completely different player once you change that atmosphere. Mm-hmm. But since we're on George Pickens, I will go because there are talks of the Dallas Cowboys trading George Pickens to the Las Vegas Raiders for Max Crosby. A lot of the pundits are saying we need to make this move, and I'm here to say absolutely not. Have you lost your natural mind? The second we finally get a wide receiver to pair with CD Lamb, we have a top 3 offense in the league. Now we're going to get rid of him for an edge. We've just seen having an explosive edge is not indicative of postseason success. It is better to have
I think you just saw the
interior pressure than an edge pressure. I know this. Why? Because we had Micah Parsons and we were ineffective. Didn't
you have
work.
DeMarcus Lawrence?
It didn't work. We had DeMarcus Lawrence in his prime. We had DeMarcus Ware.
What is it
in
with
his
getting
prime.
rid of?
It did not correlate to
because
postseason success.
Man,
here's my thing though. Why do we have to trade George Pickens to get a Max Crosby?
Because he's going to have a price tag.
Cherry blew
round picks
on
Max Crosby is one of the best edge rushers in the game, dude.
We have 2 first-round picks in this draft. If we wanted to get a George Pickens, a Max Crosby, and they're saying they want a Micah Parsons-like return, we could easily pair one of those first-round picks with a future first-round pick and go out and get it done. We're not getting James Pierce. Please sit down. If it were up to me, why not both? That's something I would love to see the Dallas Cowboys do. Go out and actually go all in, get a dynamic edge rusher without sacrificing anything on the offense. It's unnecessary. You can have both. In fact, the Cowboys have the ability, I saw a chart, the Cowboys have the ability to open up $150 million in cap space just by restructuring a couple of deals. So the cap is not an issue for the Cowboys. If we wanted to, we could go get Crosby. We could trade some draft picks, and we could keep George Pickens either on the tag or give him 34, 36, 38 million a year and run it back. So
how do you get
missing the
George Pickens
playoffs
to play on a franchise tag? How do you get him to play on a franchise tag?
that's what I'm saying. You tag him now, ensuring.
I mean,
that
how do you get him to play?
Hasn't he already been
Yeah,
tagged?
he would just hold out.
He hasn't been
tag him
tagged.
now,
This is his 4th year. So.
And then you negotiate the long-term deal after you do some restructures. So then you can have him playing on a 34, a 36, a $38 million contract and call it a day. But you just tag him now just to make sure that he will be a Dallas Cowboy and that you can shut down all these speculations of which team he's going to. He will be a Dallas Cowboy.
I'm just saying, like when you trade for an edge and it's going to work out, you should be 1 or 2 steps away from the Super Bowl. Like it's worked out in the past. Like when Reggie White was traded to the Packers, when DeMarcus Ware went to the Broncos, and Julius Peppers, I think, went to the Packers. Something like that. Like you're so far away from the Super Bowl. Max Crosby's not going to make a huge
Why
difference.
are the Cowboys so far away from the Super
Do you have a defense
You don't have any linebackers.
do you have a defense like Seattle?
We
Do you have
literally
an offense like San Francisco?
We literally
Can you beat
have,
any of the teams in the NFC West?
We literally have a top 3 offense. I'm saying we go back. Remember what we were with Micah Parsons, by the way. Remember how
What happened
we
to
weren't
him?
one of the worst defenses in the league. So we add a Max Crosby-like player. We draft, we restock, we reload, we go get a couple of linebackers in free agency. Why can we not be right back there?
Jerry doesn't spend money.
You think this Seattle defense, remember I just said we can open up 150 million in cap space just by restructuring. This Seattle defense was garbage 2 seasons ago. It's
They
not
weren't
like
really garbage.
they were
had
bad
decent pieces.
2 seasons ago. This same Seattle defense, they completely revamped this defense in 2 seasons. So it's not like a turnaround is so far off. And by the way, the Cowboys offense is better than the Seahawks offense.
Who's your defensive coordinator now?
Our defensive coordinator now is the former Eagles, Vic Fangio disciple, Christian Parker. So he's coming over, and read up about him. A lot of high praise from a lot of people in the league. This guy's a defensive savant. I expect us to be substantially better, even if we made no new moves, just based off him coming in with his approach to the defense.
Okay, but he's not Mike McDonald.
Yeah.
Who's to say he's not better?
I don't think
I mean, it's very hard to get better than Mike McDonald.
Who's
dude.
to say?
Yeah. Mike
We
McDonald.
don't know. He could be better. He could be way worse. There, no one knows. That's the thing. He's never
He's
called
not
plays
better than Mike
before.
McDonald. I'll say it with a lot of confidence right now.
Okay,
Who's doing
clip
this?
it. Someone clip it.
Clip
What?
it. Okay, I'm yeah.
I will easily say it. As Mike McDonald became the first head coach to win a Super Bowl while calling his own defense, I'm going to say he's better. He's got more talent to work with, and that's what it's going to come down to for Dallas. You're not going to be able to trade for Max Crosby. I don't think the Raiders are interested in doing a player-for-player trade. Now, you can pray that the Bengals don't tag Trey Hendrickson again.
We don't
We all
want
thought
Trey
that they
Hendrickson. We
wouldn't.
do not want Trey
But
Hendrickson.
now we've heard that they might. But there's
It's
your
something
guy.
that the
There's your Max
Bengals would
Crosby
do.
Comp. You can have Trey, or you can have Joey Bosa, Scooter. Those are your options.
Or we could
Joey
draft an
Bosa.
edge.
Yeah, so you should probably draft a guy.
So we, like I said, we have 12 and 20 this season.
Okay.
There are going to be some players that fall. There are going to be some great players that fall to 12. So I'm
Who's
excited.
your dream edge rusher to be picked for the Cowboys?
honestly, I'm looking at not an edge, because I do believe if we were to run it back with Ezraku and we re-sign Clowney, I think if you get a player like Caleb
Trusting Joey.
Downs dropping to the Cowboys at 12, You look at when the Cowboys had success on defense, what's something we always had? It was a dynamic safety. Look at Darren Woodson back when the Cowboys were thriving. He was all over the field, and that's what a Caleb Downs can bring you. And a lot of people are saying Caleb Downs is the best player in the draft. It just so happens to be that he's a safety. So if somehow he falls to 12, I think you're going to see.
I don't
He's
think
ranked
you're
as
going to
number 5 overall in this draft.
I mean, you're going to have to. You can trade up for him. You could use the 12 and the 20 to go up to like 4 or 5.
I've seen some comps of us doing the exact same thing. So
that makes sense.
I don't know. There are a lot of people who said the reason why I think he can fall is because a lot of people are saying you do not spend a top 10 pick on a safety. Because
if you could get,
listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. The value is not there because when you get to that year 5 edge, the year 5 edge deal, you save way more money versus the year 5 safety deal. Edges are paid way more money, so you can have them for that 5th year. Versus a safety year 5 deal isn't worth as much.
Isn't it
so
crazy?
You're not saving that much money on your cap space. So that's why a lot of people are saying it's not worth it to take a safety that high because you don't save that much money when you get to year 5.
Now it's crazy that you mentioned that because the system is sort of set up for them for the teams to collude without even having to do it. Like they don't have to go into back rooms and make these deals because it's already set up out in the open. It's like, all right, these players are only worth this much on the tier anyways. But that kind of, if a team really wants Caleb Downs, they'll draft him. I mean, the Jets wasted a top 3 pick on Sauce Gardner. So
and we see how that worked out for them.
They got 2 first-round picks out of it, so it's not like it was a total loss.
That's hard to say a waste. He won defensive
player.
I
wouldn't say waste.
Exactly,
but
they got 2 first-round
but
picks.
Is he on the Jets?
And they actually got.
He's not on the Jets because the Jets are the Jets. As I said, 2 first-round picks, one that dropped all the way to 15. That's a huge get for the Jets.
Yeah.
Hey, I wouldn't be mad if the Cowboys also drafted Sonny Styles as well. Someone posted it in my chat. If the Cowboys got Sonny Styles, I would be happy with a dynamic linebacker like that as well. Our linebacker core could use a refresh. But ultimately for the Cowboys, I'm looking for Jerry Jones to put his money where his mouth is. The Patriots actually were big spenders in free agency, and that got them to the Super Bowl. Jerry Jones has stated he wants to have more Super Bowls than Robert Kraft by the time he passes. And to do that, he's
going to have kill Robert Kraft right now and then try to live on 40 more years.
Yeah,
I'm just saying he said it. I didn't say that. That's what Jerry said. Yeah. So I'm looking for the Cowboys to be big spenders.
Okay, yeah,
Cowboys are done.
All right, the Giants
done.
The Giant, yeah, you've had enough, Scooter. The
Giants, we're cutting you off. We're cutting you off. Buddy.
The Giants need to either draft Carnell Tate or Mekhi Lemon. I like Mekhi Lemon because it sounds like a fruity drink that I would get at a bar. Like, would you like the Mekhi Lemon? I would be like, yes.
Bartender, I'd like a Mekhi Lemon, please.
Yes.
You don't have like PTSD from drafting a wide receiver
Parrot Bay
high?
rum. What?
You don't have PTSD from drafting a wide receiver high?
Malik Neighbors has been amazing. He just got hurt.
What's your position of need, Adam, for free agency?
If we could go out and sign like a right guard or a right tackle,
you want
pretty
a guard
weak on that side. Yeah, I mean, Evan Neal has been terrible, and they're probably just going to cut him. And then everybody else that's kind of come back in, like Greg Van Roten, he's just going to leave. Evan Neal is garbage. Like they probably should draft somebody with the 2nd round pick. It would have been nice to have that number 1 overall and trade down, but that's not going to happen.
Y'all could have gotten so much.
But they're going to sign Zaydu. They'll re-sign him, and they'll re-sign whoever the other guy is. But they don't have any depth on the offensive line. So they need to bulk that up. Defensive linebackers are okay. Secondary is awful too. I mean, I could see them drafting Caleb Downs at 5 in a surprise move because Tyler
secondary's
Newbin
bad.
and Drew Phillips have been awful. So we'll see
It's
what
almost
they
like you
do.
could use Xavier McKinney back there still, huh?
Wouldn't that be nice? Instead of just
You could also
letting
use
him walk or
Jordan Love.
trading James Bradbury, who also was one of the
James
few
Bradbury wasn't good for the
signings.
Giants. That was the problem.
No, when I watched him, he made plays. Like,
he
every
fell apart
time-
that final year. You have to remember that.
Yeah,
That's why they
but I
traded
mean,
him.
when they needed a play to be made, he made plays, and you just let that guy walk. I get it that it was a cap casualty, but every time I saw him play, he made plays. So I don't know. The Giants are such a mess. I'm not optimistic at all. I think Harbaugh improves things. They could get to 8 wins. They have some upside, some reasons to be optimistic. You get Scatterbo with his insane ankle and just absolute hard-nosed running. But who knows? This team's probably, we can only go up from here.
If you had to make one trade, who would it be?
I would trade one of the safeties, Newbin or Phillips, for something. But nobody's going to want either of them. They've been so bad. They've been so bad. Newbin,
GM.
I
Hey,
would.
I would. I want to trade one of my safeties. I know you don't want them, but do you want them?
Dude.
Honestly,
when I worked
just
in
take 'em.
corporate, I would get called. I would feel so bad hanging up on telemarketers. I'd be like, I get that you're trying to do a job and that that you need to eat, but I would just keep them all.
It's actually crazy.
Can't use your product.
We actually Tom and I interviewed Tyler Newbin at the combine. So we got an exclusive look before he was even drafted.
I'm sure he's a great guy. I'm sure he's a great guy, and they probably drafted him on his character. But like, he made some plays last year where you're just like, ooh, golly, he got burnt really bad or took some bad angles.
That's what the knock on him I was reading was he takes very bad angles.
Yeah, it was frustrating to watch.
His geometry rating is very low.
He does not. He takes up 2 angles.
What's that cognitive test? The S2. I want to take the S2 cognitive test just to understand how bad I would be at NFL football. Do you know what this test is? Where basically, like, they have dots on a screen and you have to like identify them as they're coming up, and like elite athletes can do it like 8 at a time or something, and most normal people it's like 2 or 3. Yeah.
If you had to trade for any player coming into the Giants, like you're trading for this player, who would you want to trade for to put you in a better position before the draft?
What you mean, like
would you trade for a receiver right now so you could draft something else?
I have no idea who's out there. Yeah, it'd be nice to trade away Darius Slayton as well.
No, not trade away.
Okay.
You're getting someone.
Yeah, we would trade away our co-owner, Steve Tisch, and maybe let that whole thing go away. How about that?
Okay.
I don't know. I let the football people do the football moves, and then I prepare to yell at. I'm gonna start writing all the complaints about Matt Nagy now. I'm gonna put them in a large leather-bound book and just I need some good Matt Nagy insults. If anybody, I don't have anybody that they could trade for.
That's fair. That is fair. Let's go now to the Broncos. Dream scenario for the Broncos this offseason. What moves are you making? What trades are you doing? Who are you drafting? Let us know all of the above, Perna.
I don't know who we're drafting because I don't know anybody in the draft right now.
That's fair.
I have some thoughts on free agency because there's some interesting names out here. The Broncos are going to spend money this free agency period. I do believe that. Areas are going to have to address running back. J.K. Dobbins is going to be a free agent. Tight ends. Adam Troutman's going to be a free agent. Their safeties, P.J. Locke's going to be a free agent. We saw they need a little depth there when Brandon Jones got hurt. Linebackers is probably their biggest issue on defense. You've got Alex Singleton, who started from. He's slated to be a free agent. Justin Strnad's going to be a free agent. So I think their biggest need to possibly be addressed in free agency as linebackers, and it's going to depend on who they sign. But before I go there, I think we know they need more weapons on offense. And if we're talking about dream scenarios, we got some interesting tight end options here. You've got one Kyle Pitts at age 25
he might get
years old.
franchised, though.
Yeah.
You got Kyle Pitts at 25. I feel like, oh God, that is sexy. As
They're
is
saying he
Isaiah
might get
Likely
franchised.
at 25.8 years of age. You got Chig Okonkwo coming out of
He's
Tennessee.
very good. He's very
And even
good player.
David Njoku is going to hit the market. So I think Denver could address that area. Now, Evan Ingram's still there, going to be there one more year. I think they could move on from his contract if they want. He
Darren
wasn't
Waller.
utilized enough. But I like tight end. But what I really like, the guy
Dallas Goedert would be a pretty good get too. I know he
Who?
did well in Philadelphia.
He's
Dallas
going to
Goedert.
re-sign with the Eagles.
Oh,
100%.
Goddard's great.
Yeah, Goddard would be a good pickup for you guys too.
Where is my guy? Let's go. Come on.
Yeah, I think
Come on. There it is. Devin Lloyd. I don't think they're going to let him out of Jacksonville. But dear
That's-
God, if Devin Lloyd becomes a free agent, I say the
Pounce on
Broncos sign him. Hopefully Dre Greenlaw can stay healthy. Then they sign either Singleton or Justin Strnad, and they draft a linebacker. For the life of me, that is a position that cannot stay healthy. It hasn't stayed healthy for multiple years in Denver. Give me Devin Lloyd. Here's an interesting one for Tree. Devin Bush has played really well as a Cleveland Brown.
Yeah, he actually he's got his mojo back.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think.
But dude, Devin Lloyd, he was insane this year. He was a ball hawk. That's been a position that has haunted Denver. And it's been like 7 or 8 years. So that would be fun in free agency. Reed Blankenship's going to be a free agent. You're talking about safeties right there, Scooter. Reed Blankenship coming out of
Reed
Philly.
Blankenship was a liability this past season for the Eagles. Absolutely not. N'Kobe Dean, on the other hand, that is who I would target if I were the Cowboys.
N'Kobe Dean's hurt all the
especially-
time. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Well, he has a relationship with Christian Parker. He's going to put him in great positions, and when he was healthy, he was playing lights out.
All right. And here's my last piece. I want the Broncos to re-sign J.K. Dobbins. I really do. I love J.K. and the injury history is just, it's going to be there. So I don't think he would even stay healthy necessarily for a full season just based on history. So if I'm going to sign a running back, I want J.K., I want R.J. Harvey, who we like using as a pass catching back. But then bring me Breece Hall. I don't think Kenneth Walker is going to be leaving Seattle, but I will take one Breece Hall. I will take Breece Hall.
We're going to take Breece Hall for $10 million a
Honestly,
year.
I
for the
think Tyler
Steelers-
Algier is an interesting option.
Algier, yeah.
You're saying
I would-
you don't
if
want
I'm
your
the
boy
Steelers-
back? You don't want your boy back? Javonte Williams?
I mean,
Dude,
he's gonna cost a
I
lot.
would take him. I just know how I just don't think Javonte's going to come back.
He's not coming back.
Yeah. Honestly, I would love for the Steelers. I would love either to keep Kenneth Gainwell. He was outstanding, especially as a 1A, 1B type.
I
Or if
have
they
him
don't
on
go
the
to
list.
him, it might be Rico Dowdle because Mike McCarthy knew him from Dallas. I think it could be one
Rico
of those two
Dowdle
guys.
was good, and he can also catch
Very
out of the
good.
backfield. He's a beast. I think the Cowboys do bring back Javonte Williams, though. Someone earlier commented the Cowboys can't run. Javonte Williams had more rushing yards than Saquon Barkley last year. Please do some
Saquon
research.
had a
Javonte
down year,
Williams
though.
was a beast last season.
Yeah, I think there's interesting options at running back in free agency.
Very much so. A lot of young, hungry backs who have a lot of pedigree. Tyler
Oh my
Algier had a
God,
1,000-yard
Zamir
rookie
White.
season.
I
You know
remember
who I
when
don't
Zamir
want?
White was in college and was a 5-star recruit, and everyone said he was going to be the next best thing ever.
Oh, yeah.
That's
I remember
crazy.
him with the
Sometimes that
Raiders.
doesn't
I
happen.
remember 24, I believe it was. They were looking at him as like the future running back, and he just kept running into defensive linemen.
All right. Have we all given our wish list
Yeah.
so far?
Steelers, we're getting Joe Burrow. I'm joking. Still.
Hey, swing for the
You sound like
fences.
NFL rumors
Hey.
right now.
Honestly, we got to get out of
Gotta
this
count.
carousel no matter what. That's the way you get out of it.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
You seem depressed during and after the NFL season, Adam.
I'm just, I've just been beaten down. The Giants, they've taken everything from me, and we'll see. We'll see what happens in the offseason. But the draft is going to be fun. It's going to be in Pittsburgh. I might go and hang out with Tree in Pittsburgh. If you guys want to come, could be enjoyable.
Come on down.
Yeah.
Come on down to the Berg.
Mm.
We can have a little clickbait gather. Maybe. before the draft.
Do we do it?
Did you guys sign Brian Callahan as your QB coach?
We did. We've
Oh,
quick
yeah,
hired.
that's a funny swap, right? Brian Callahan leaves Cam Ward to go coach Jackson Dart, and Brian Dable leaves Jackson Dart to go coach Cam Ward.
Yes.
A little Brian for Brian swapping.
Yes, a lot
Swapping
of
of players.
Brian's being swapped. Yeah, the Harbaugh hires
Life of
outside
Brian.
of Nagy seem solid, but who knows? You never.
I think
the thing with the Giants, they
ceiling
just
this year,
got-
5 wins. 5 wins is the ceiling.
You'd love
0
that,
wins is the
wouldn't you?
floor.
Mm-hmm.
0 wins.
You'd love
How do you have 0 wins? Oh, right. Zero.
Okay, don't tell that to a Lions or Browns
think-
fan.
I think Jackson Dart would have played better in the Super Bowl than Drake May.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, my headphones just jacked up for a second. My bad.
They'd what?
They jacked up. They
Oh,
were jacked up. I know what you were going for, but not that. I made $84.73.
$56.33.
$9, baby.
Brandon,
67.93.
Come on.
Yeah.
I think you should have to retell the story of Mike McCarthy as like a movie. Like he owned a bar.
I
in
already have to
Pittsburgh.
do a video on Aaron Rodgers too, but
Yeah.
I think you need to
Ooh.
post an AI picture of you and Mike McCarthy on your Only Trees account.
oh,
Do you have that account?
He's never set it up.
I have it set up, but it's
Have you made any money?
no,
Yeah?
I haven't put anything up yet, but I
Is
do
there-
have it set up. I have it reserved.
Apparently, OnlyFans is trying to get away from their current format and trying to make it, like more types of content. So
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, I think we do 3 calendar pictures. You got to do like January, February, March for Only Trees. And it needs to include, one of them has to include Mike McCarthy and yourself.
Mike McCarthy.
you should try to meet
I
Mike
just get an average
McCarthy
Yinzer dude at a bar and
at training camp. Yeah, that's true. You should go find a Mike McCarthy lookalike and just take a picture with him. And just
I'm not lazy. Come on.
I did see a guy that looked
No.
like Mike McCarthy at my old gym. Like he looked like him, the spitting. Like I did want to.
I
take
think a lot of
selfie with
guys
him.
look like
There's
Mike
a lot of
McCarthy.
dudes that look like Mike McCarthy. It's not hard. You can just go to any construction site.
That's the average Yinzer. You can walk into a bar in McKees Rocks or North for Sales. You will find like at least 6 dudes that look like Mike McCarthy on an average Friday night.
All right.
So
So
what are
what
we
is
saying?
the punishment? I think you should try to meet Mike McCarthy like you did with Aaron Rodgers. That should be one where you go to either training camp or the draft and you try to meet. Well, the coaches don't usually show up.
Yeah,
I'm sure he will if it's in his backyard, right? Where is it actually physically taking place? Is it at
the training camp.
no,
Or the draft?
the draft. Where
The
where are
draft
they-
is going to be at Acrisure Stadium and the North Shore, as well as Point State Park. That's where it's going to be. So it's within a contained area, but it's going to be across the river. So you'd have to
Sounds
walk
fun,
across.
man.
Mm.
Yeah,
you would-
Okay. Maybe this one's cool. Maybe it's not. Did you guys see that thing about the guy who sent the pizza request for extra olives because it was his birthday and none of his family or friends were around to celebrate, and he just wanted as many olives on his pizza as possible?
No, what is this?
No, I mean that's just pure olive. Just eat olives at that point, man.
Well, they sent him a pizza. It had a ton of olives, and then inside the pizza box, it had like a happy birthday message and like a cake they drew on there. I think Tree needs to get a pizza delivered, but he needs to convince them to write Mike McCarthy is the better Mike Steelers head coach or something like that.
That's way.
You gotta get
if I make my own
pizza delivery.
Does that make sense? Like if I make my own pizza that says that?
No, you gotta get the pizza place to make you a
Order
Mike
it.
McCarthy message on your pizza.
Fine. Dude, I can make my own pizza. It'd be fine.
Chat, help us out here.
Come on.
They just wrote it in the request. They didn't like call in. Super easy.
Yeah, you could do it. Yeah, you could just say,
Pretend
hey,
you're like a 12-year-old boy. Like, I am 12. I love Mike McCarthy
Oh
and the
no,
Steelers.
you got to call and you have to get a Mike McCarthy lovers. That's what it is.
Mike McCarthy lovers.
What's a Mike McCarthy lovers
What is
pizza?
that?
And whatever they give you, you have to eat the whole thing. Whatever. What?
Eat
You
the whole
gotta
thing.
order a Mike
just
McCarthy
making him eat
lovers.
Entire pizza by himself.
Dude, I'd rather have a penis injection.
I think we all would.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'll do some like skating. Maybe it'll be like that. I don't know.
I'm still tripping on only trees. Yeah. That's
Figure out Mike
Yeah,
McCarthy's favorite pizza and then order it and
No.
eat it.
Let me take a look. What is Mike McCarthy's favorite
it's a
pizza?
Mike McCarthy lovers.
It would
That's
just
Mike
be a
McCarthy's
sausage.
favorite food.
It
His
sounds like
favorite
he would
food.
like.
They have pizza from his favorite spot. His favorite food is pizza from Aiello's. in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
So,
Order
it's
an
from Greenfield,
Aiello's
so it's-
pizza and eat
Aiello's
it.
is pretty good.
Next clickbait. Next episode of clickbait.
Yeah, you got to
gotta
Okay,
eat the
Aiello's
here's
whole
what you
pizza.
got to do.
on
You got to go to
clickbait
Aiello's.
with olives.
Ooh, okay. All right. Okay.
No.
I like this.
You got to go to Aiello's and you got to order a pizza and you got to bring a giant framed picture of Mike McCarthy and you got to eat your pizza alone with a framed thing of Mike McCarthy sitting across from you.
What?
That's fair.
I have to go on a date with a wig on. You can eat a pizza with Mike McCarthy with a printout of Mike McCarthy. I agree.
Mike McCarthy.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes.
That would be funny. And
And
the
then
memes
film
will be
everyone's
endless.
reactions.
That,
People are
that's a
liking
good
this
meme.
one.
Yeah,
That's it.
a romantic dinner with Mike McCarthy. But yeah.
Yes.
I like
There you
it.
Yeah,
go.
ask for
You
it
got
Mike's
it.
way.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
I'd like it Mike's way.
What do you guys have coming out on your YouTube
Right
channels?
after this, I have every MLB stadium's origin story, what every MLB stadium was before it was built. Some pretty cool ones. Do you know what the Coors Field was before it was built, Brandon?
What Coors Field was?
Before
It was like
was
an
built.
empty train lot or some shit, right?
Correct. Very good. Tree, do you know what PNC Park was before it was built?
It was a parking lot for Three River Stadium, if I believe so.
It wasn't. Before that, though, it was a
It was, I
neighborhood.
think, a
It
neighborhood
was
and
a bunch of buildings. There was a no.
Because
There
it
was
used
like
to
a
be-
huge tower there. Yeah.
Yeah, but it used to be Exhibition Park. That was where a parking lot is now, where Stage AE is. It was there
Mhm.
too. So
And
yes,
Before that, there was a coal gasification plant on the grounds. They had to clean up the soil before they made the stadium. Okay.
sounds about right.
You
That's
have
what I
to
got coming
steal
out.
Mike McCarthy's identity. You have to become
Steal his identity.
Mike McCarthy.
Turn
I don't know. I'm a little
dropping
too
on
young
the
to be
channel.
Mike McCarthy right now, man.
We
man.
posted a Sam Darnold video today, and then we got a Jets video coming out probably Saturday.
Nice. Tree.
Well, we just Nick and I, we released a video called Quarter Hacks, the NFL's journeyman who won't die. Just mostly quarterbacks who were active through 2025. It's a little journey through the backup quarterback and everything that's gone through that. And also, I'm working on NHL All-Star Break Haters Guide. That should be out next week.
Nice. I got the NFC East
See,
finale
Mike
dropping
McCarthy.
soon. That's the Super Bowl edition NFC East meeting. And then next week, we are starting a brand new series that I am calling NFC House. Be sure to tune in for that. This has been another episode of Clickbait Sports. We will see you either next week or in 2 months.
Yeah. Right before the draft. just understand that our mock draft stream is always the best stream of the year.
Absolutely, man.
know?
Good stuff.
And it's
We'll see you around,
infallible. We've
guys.
gotten it right every time.
Peace.
It is called The NFL Has Changed, and Sam Darnold is proof. Bum, bum, bum.
Football never changes.